Welcome back to Sneakers and Stogies. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Landon Strange here. It's too early for me to have a cigar, but that doesn't mean my guests can't have one. So let the world know who you are.
What's going on? It's Ryan Aubrey.
What?
I had to do the Stogie. I had to. There's no way. It's literally on the show. It's not up.
Exactly, and that's the only reason why we're here, because you come out of nowhere.
You have a lower third for it.
Yeah, I have a little third.
Is it on this side or this side?
It's both, actually. I'll put it on both.
Okay, so it's on the show. It's on the show.
It's on the show.
It's only right. That's just brand.
Exactly, but still in all, I didn't know if you smoked stogies, so I didn't want to be rude. That's the cutter. I didn't know if you smoked stogies, so I'm not gonna be rude.
Oh, you know it.
But I got a stogie, a good cigar from CAO from Briar Shop. Shout out to Briar Shop for celebrating their 60th anniversary this past weekend.
Yes, sir.
But there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna let you light your own stogie. I'm smoking out the pipe today, ladies and gentlemen. But needless to say, we're grateful for you to be here, especially since it's so short notice.
Oh God.
Yeah, you forget which hand?
Yeah.
The other end. Flip. There you go.
Alright.
See, you learned?
I did that, so I posted this video, right? Live ass video. It's 8 months ago or something like that, a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, it's early, the same thing, early in the morning like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't morning no more, but
No.
it's pretty early.
Pretty early.
And so it's morning somewhere.
Exactly.
And so literally, I'm like, it's just a Saturday, right? I got the cognac cup and everything.
Oh yeah.
Touchdown. We had this photo shoot, and literally, I'm lighting the cigar and smoking it and stuff. And I lit it on the wrong side, and they let me have it when they realized it. I was like, dang.
They didn't want you to be great, that's what it was. But yeah, nah. We welcome you here, but before we get really lit with the show, I'll say don't die on the stogie.
Hey, man.
Don't die.
You got to.
But we here because, I'm wearing my concert shirt, even though it's not a concert shirt Friday, because my boy, Tyler, the Creator, won Best Rap Album, and rightfully deserved it. You had me fucked all the way up. You might have got snubbed for the Grammy of the Best Album of the Year, but Best Rap Album, yeah, 2 in a row, dead ass. Let's run it. But
you didn't think he had no competition this year?
For Call Me If You Get Lost, Donda was basic until you got the deluxe edition. CLB, hit or miss, depending on your taste. Nas' album came very late in the end. And J. Cole album was pretty good, but I only listened to it. I listened to it straight through, and I can only just fully enjoy it one time.
What album was J. Cole's album?
Damn, it was the one that popped off at the end of this. I can't remember the
Fall Off or something like that?
I think so.
Okay, I didn't listen to it.
It was good. Don't get me wrong, great album, but it's like one time through. Whereas
That's how I feel about every J. Cole album. That's why I didn't listen to it.
Honestly,
except for okay.
Don't piss off people on Dreamville Weekend last weekend. Don't do it.
Forest Hills Drive is fire. That's his best album. That's his magnum opus. No questions asked. It's nothing we can even talk about.
Yeah.
I like Born Sinner a lot. That I might like it a little bit more, just me personally. More hits, you know what I mean? What was his first album? Cold World?
Yeah, Cold World.
Oh, I guess because the mixtape too.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think every J. Cole from his very first mixtape, Friday Night Lights to Forest Hill Drive,
correct.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, people say boring and stuff, but
yeah.
No criticism from me, but
it tells a story.
Oh, no, it wasn't KLD. It was
No, KLD was the one.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, For Your Eyes Only was my favorite, low key.
That's the one where I was like, falling off.
Well, because he told a story, and most of the albums I like tell a story, and that's why I enjoyed this Tyler album more, because it told a genuine story from beginning to end.
It was a concept album?
It was a concept album, but it was a concept album different from Igor, which he won the Grammy for.
I like Igor.
And this one's a further variation of it. But it's a different story.
What was before? Was Flower Boy before Igor?
It was Flower Boy, then Igor, then Call Me If You Get Lost.
Tyler has come a long way musically, if you think about it.
Oh yes, no, dead ass.
He actually tried. I feel like he didn't used to try before. He just made music game music.
Yeah, but it worked for him. And then I want to say after Wolf, that's when you saw his progression. Because Goblin, of course, was a continuation from Bastard, but with these last 3 albums, there's a symphony in its own right. And actually seeing it live was a different experience as well.
I remember funniest thing ever, right? So, if y'all don't know, I work in the industry, right?
Fair enough.
Producing TV content, you know, trying to do my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is like right after I graduated from TSU. This is years ago now.
Of course.
And so, I just gave him a plug too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. All right. Y'all say TSU on this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We gave TSU a shout out for WrestleMania this past Saturday because the band was there.
Oh yeah, I seen that. That was live.
That was hella live.
I was like, ooh.
I'm like, I'm here for it, but continue the story.
So they should have that on my trip, but that neither here nor there. And so I ended up my first job, well, it's like my second job, but like it was connected, same production company. So my first job after school, I got this job working on in the Lost City of Gold with Paramount.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now, you know, I have a contentious relationship with that studio, so you know what I mean. I really shouldn't have said their name. I wish we could bleep it out.
I'll bleep it out in post.
Yeah, okay. But pretty much, at the time, I didn't think like put two and two together. That's a Viacom company. You know, bleep it out. And so, literally on our like second to last day, we're filming. Cause I wasn't there for the initial filming. I was like in Hawaii. I was there for like the post filming, right? So like, you know, most films nowadays you do 6 to 8 weeks of like reshoots just to get stuff right, or you know, some executive somewhere looked at it and was like, that's trash.
Yes.
Fix this, and this, and at this person, you'd be like, damn, like they hired me for that.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean?
And you got paid.
Yeah, hey, you know. So we end up working. It was actually crazy because they had to push the film date back by like a week or two because we're doing reshoots in June. That's June. From May to June.
Yeah, I remember them pushing it back. Now that you say that, that's weird.
Yeah, that's why they pushed it back. So we still have to do press during those shoots. We still have to do photo shoot. We have to do all that, make time for that. Whole different story. I have a whole funny story connected to the blade and everything. It's a whole other story.
Okay.
But pretty much on our last or second to last day of filming, they were like, play some music, right? We were leaving filming, we're going straight to the press junket, we're outside, we're trying to like keep everybody in one place. Even like Gloria's on the movie, she has a crowd of 50 people where like a whole like entourage. It's crazy. She has a makeup artist doing her makeup as she's just sitting there, and then there's a makeup artist doing her makeup. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen, like real Hollywood. And so they're like, we're all sitting outside, they're like, hey, play some music. So they look to me because obviously I'm like the only black person there. You know, it's 2019. It's not past 2020. So you know they're not gonna just you know how it goes. Yeah. And so I'm like, ooh, I don't like playing music. You know what I mean? And this is not like being racist. But
of course, everybody's taste is different.
Yeah. So it's like I don't like playing my music because my music's a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll call it ethnic or, you know,
urban.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more ratchet, you know what I mean? I'm listening, nigga, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a little extra, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm good. So, I can't remember his first name, but he's a Wahlberger. Not Wahlberger. Wahlberg.
Not Mark.
Not Mark Wahlberg.
It's the other one?
It's the nephew.
The nephew, okay, I can't think of his name either.
And his I don't want to say that on here. I don't want to say that on here. I was going to give y'all some insight.
Don't do it to them. They not ready.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say that on here. But pretty much, he's like, nah, I got it. So he's like, okay, cool. So he connects to the aux cord. It's like a white boy from like Massachusetts. Why does he start playing all black music, all hip hop, and the first song he plays is literally, was it Earthquake?
Yeah.
By Tyler, the Creator?
Yes.
And literally, so I'm like sitting there, I'm thinking he's gonna play something like, you know what I mean, something crazy, or like, you know what I mean, something like pop, you know, something.
Yeah, something different.
Why did I hear that beat drop? And I literally, I promise you, this is my reaction. I was just like,
bro, you was on something you ain't want to.
Yeah.
Bro. Oh, God.
We thought he was a kid all throughout filming because the main star of the film, I can't remember her name either.
We'll worry about it.
Yeah, Wikipedia. And so, she was like 17 at the time, so she only like could film as a minor type shit, you know what I mean? Like she only filmed 6 hours a day, has to have one break for lunch, her parents have to be there. She had a dog there, that was like 3-legged and shit too, it was crazy, yeah, it was crazy, Hollywood,
just all you have to say was
Hollywood, and so, literally, we thought he was a kid the whole time, like that same day, like literally, that was our last time like filming with him or whatever. he's leaving. He's like, yo, appreciate y'all. It's like that. He's actually live. Like, you know what I mean? Shows up. Okay. Why do we say, hey, are you buying? He told us, like, yeah, y'all are good kids. And we was like, good kids? How old are you? He was like, at the time, you know what I mean, we was younger. But he was like, I'm 23. We was like, 23? What? This is a kid's movie.
Bruh.
When I tell you, everybody was like, it was like literally, like it must have gone through the whole crowd, like of everyone on, like, want to say, everyone was like, 23. It literally, we was like, what? Hey, crazy times.
See it.
Tyler's reach. That's my point. That's my overall point. Tyler's reach.
Tyler's reach has changed from when I started listening to him in the dorms in 09 when Yonkers came out, of course.
Ooh.
But even then, seeing him in Austin in 15. So I get the reach. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's the times have changed. But you have your own, media company, right?
Yes, sir.
And I've been seeing you've been doing multiple things. You want to talk about that for a little bit while we're here?
I'll let them know. So we have a company, Thepolarisnetwork. It's our podcast now. We actually expanding. So it all started from our podcast, just like this, literally. And so we were in a position where
Go ahead.
I go TV. And so we were in a position where we had our podcast, Taco Tuesday. And essentially, we wanted to branch out naturally. Like, we had other ideas that we wanted to do, other things, and we were just like, how can we accomplish that while also, like, maintaining the core of what we're doing? And then I think that's how we started, like, other shows, digital series. At first, they were just companions, like Pop-Up Shop. We started the cul-de-sac, like other stuff in the same like lane or whatever. What happened was we ended up doing it again, essentially. Like whether they say success is relative. So as you like start to like move forward, you're gonna learn no matter what happens around us. And so we had the Polaris Network, which we started in 2021. So it was initially starting to be like an online media network. Then we were like, we want to do news. We want to do because the whole core of like everything we ever done is this is missing right now in the world.
Facts.
So it's like, how can we find that and recreate that and redevelop that like as a platform? I like it with like what's his name? LeBron.
Yeah. LeBron
does that. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like, how can we create these platforms that actually are impactful to, you know what I mean? Similar to the Tyler shit. Like, you look at like a song like that with this white boy from Massachusetts, he shouldn't be listening to that. But it's because Tyler's able to reach those like cross-cultural limits and parameters and grab people like that. He might not get every single black kid in the hood, but he gonna get one.
Exactly.
You get one in the hood and you get one in some school in Massachusetts. Like, that's crazy.
Exactly.
So that's really what our goal was like, how can we bring authenticity back to the media space? So Polaris Network, the whole thing is the Polaris group. It's all one umbrella. Polaris Network is the podcast network. We have a lot of podcasts, a lot of content coming soon. You know what I mean? Check us out on YouTube. We focus on what we call podcasts. My co-host Jerome, shout out to him. He kind of like coined that term. It's kind of like a VOD because like video release on demand, and then podcast is just video for the live. You know, it was cool.
It's lit though. That's a creative idea, and I support it. Like when you started it, I said I'm gonna sub. I might not be able to watch it. I'm gonna goddamn support you because at least you trying to do something that's different.
Hey,
and creative at the same time.
So then after that, we just moved into like Polaris News, which is like the news division, but only for underreported news. Not breaking news and stuff like that. So like, you know what I mean? Somebody just got their car broken into over here, and it's connected to a whole string of them happening like in the whole city.
Yes.
Nobody knows about that because the news isn't gonna cover it.
Of course.
But we try to focus also on like the culture and the lifestyle, like lifestyle content, basically, like positive news. Because there's a lot of news that happens where like, let's say like that happens, that might be covered somewhere.
Yeah.
But what won't get covered is like, let's say we go like pass out some like lunches to the homeless, and every single like 100% of the homeless in the whole community. Not the city, but the community. That just made a big ass difference, but no one will ever know because if we don't tell people and we don't post it, then how's it gonna go? The problem is consumers have this disconnect with, like, if it's not a platform, if it's not an organization, if it's not an entity, I don't really care.
There it is.
So it's like, we wanted to make sure, like, we're trying to give you news and stuff like that. Yeah.
Of course.
A lot of stuff is negative in the world. It's a dangerous world.
It's a dangerous world.
But it's a lot of good, too.
Exactly.
So we want to emphasize that and kind of like, that's why we created Polaris News specifically. Polaris TV is coming soon. That's our film distribution company. So we put out a documentary.
Yeah.
Won a couple awards. You know what I mean? They hated it a little bit. You know what I mean? I know it's controversial.
It is. But hey, you took a great song title and made it into a documentary. You made it work. So I'm not no hate on that at all. That's a great idea, honestly.
I just got asked about that title too.
Really?
So it's No Church in the Wild for y'all if y'all don't know.
Yeah, Watch the Throne.
You Watch the Throne. And they were like, why, like, does it have to do with churches? I'm like, no, that's you're misinterpreting the meaning. It's way deeper than that. Like, no, it's not about church, it's about like systemic oppression.
Yes.
And I'm like, we made it to be a wake-up call, essentially. Like, I knew it was controversial. I could have made it way more controversial, honestly.
Of course.
You should have saw, like, once we sent it and submitted it to all these festivals and, like, the Emmys and stuff like that, they were like, we love it. We love it a lot. But it's giving us, what do they be saying nowadays? It's giving hidden colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I guess it's just...
Take it as is.
Yeah, so only a couple festivals were even willing to, like, select it. Yeah.
Wow.
I got a lot of great feedback.
Of course.
But they were just like, it's too controversial for us. And I'm like, I mean, that's crazy how black issues are controversial, but...
We're going to take a quick intermission because this first run through was actually pretty smooth, but this is a conversation we've been needing to have for a long ass time. Tell me if I'm lying, because we've been trying to do this for how long?
That's what I'm saying.
So we're going to take a quick intermission. We'll be right back. Here. Alrighty. I had to redo that. Welcome back from the intermission. You know, you gotta fix your mistakes and you gotta learn from them. But like I said, you did support your Profiles Clothing. Hopefully everybody that sees this will get the full audio, including the mistakes. But you know, you learn from your mistakes. Thank you for supporting your Profiles Clothing line, Pepper Dive. Shout out to Trey, season 2 guest. But back to the LA Super Bowl. How was it for you?
So the LA Super Bowl is or was the Super Bowl for non-football fans. So if you knew nothing about, Super Bowl usually is for non-football fans anyway. But if you know nothing about football, if you've never seen a football game, if you didn't care, if you've never seen a Super Bowl, that was the Super Bowl for not. It was packed out with like 100,000 people plus. The city was filled with so many. Oh my gosh! I'm conspiracy too. Hold on to that. But it was like the craziest thing. But for the culture, it was good to see. Like it was good. Like it was in Inglewood. It was the first time we had our team and their home team. The second time it's happened in history, and we won. But it was just like, and it was a good game too. That's hard to do.
That's hard to do, especially with a good Super Bowl with no Tom Brady in it.
That's what I'm saying. So it was like, honestly, I was happy for the city. I think the city won on that end. It was but it was crazy. It was hectic. It was wild out there.
I believe it.
So many celebrities. I don't even know why so many celebrities exist. But if they did exist, they was at the game.
Of course.
Had a couple homeboys at the game too. But I was just like, yeah, $6,000, they got it.
$6,000, I could buy a whole studio. What you mean? I hear.
Everybody be pocket watching, so I won't say no names, but they know who they are, you know what I mean? And so, it was crazy. Now, my conspiracy theory was, it was the middle of February. It was over weeks. All of a sudden, it got hot. Right around the Super Bowl, like hot,
like Houston hot.
Yeah, like hot.
Oh hell no!
It was 80 degrees every single day of the Super Bowl. Well, every single day of that week.
Oh wow!
And then it got right back cold. Now I had to debate my grandma. My grandma, she's older. She doesn't believe in anything. So for her, I'm like, they can control the weather. They literally can do that. They shoot it up and stuff like, I don't know if y'all seen it, but like y'all can look it up. It's like China admitted it during the Beijing Olympics. That was 2008. That's over 10 years ago. Yeah. So if they could do it back then for that, and they just had the Olympics again, and they said they covered the whole mountain with fake snow. Yeah. Like, this is all for the show. But it was the first time in life that I like saw something that I was like, this ain't right. This is the middle of February. It's 80 degrees. I mean, it is LA, but
Yeah.
you know, so no one's gonna question it. But it was like not a cloud in the sky. It was odd, and then all of a sudden it was like a rain and cold. Yeah, it was like, you know, when you fuck up with the weather.
Yes.
So like, how would you expect it to like react? Like that's literally how it was. Like I don't know, man. All I'm gonna say is, you know, red dots in there, you know what I mean?
We don't want nobody looking out through the window. Perfect.
Yeah.
We don't want this to happen on the cameras.
Yeah. Actually, I said that too definitively. Let me take that back a little bit. Let me walk that back a little bit.
Rewind.
So, yeah, no, I believe that is a case, but we could just say global warming and call it a day.
Exactly. Just call it global warming and call it a day. Because we did have another freeze here around that same time. So I can only imagine if it's hot out there and it's cold over here. Like think about it, we still getting a little cold in April in Houston. And I've been here most of my life and it's never been like that. Like so, we had another freeze, but it was a smaller freeze in comparison to the big one last year.
That was bad.
That was terrible. But other than that, how is you said something about the culture, but I know LA is known for the celebs and everything, and I know y'all have some big sneaker stores out there.
It's two sides of LA. I'm glad you just asked that. Oh my God, it's two sides of LA.
Okay.
I've been saying this for like 2 years now because like I think that a lot of people outside of LA don't understand, and then there's a lot of people in LA that like get it, but like they don't necessarily leave LA. So there's real LA and it's fake LA.
Okay.
That's how I call it. I mean, I coined it first.
True, your prerogative.
You know what I mean? Let me trademark. I can't trademark that. LeBron. That's how we got Taco Tuesday.
Oh.
LeBron, when he did the little
trademark, y'all beat him out to it?
Nah, we didn't beat him out to the trademark.
Oh.
But we tried to. Though.
Okay. Well, I'm about to say,
I was like, we don't get clout off of this. I'd love to get sued by LeBron.
Yeah.
Hey.
At least you got his paperwork signed.
You know what I mean?
That's an autograph.
That's better than a shoe.
That's an autograph. You don't even know it.
Exactly. But and shout out to Bron.
Yeah, shout out to Bron.
But no, the culture of LA is like even like going back to that door experience, right? I was on there, only black person, obviously, and they were like, I told them I went to school in Texas Southern, and they were like, oh, so you're from Texas? I'm like, no, I'm from LA. They're like, wow, I've never met anybody from LA. I'm like, how long you been in LA? 5 years. I'm like, interesting. So on the fake side of LA, that's the tourist side. That's the side everyone thinks of. Oh, you going Hollywood, you going all that. That's Hollywood. North LA, you know, Burbank, downtown LA. Places like that where people aren't necessarily from.
Gotcha.
Aren't born there. You would never hear somebody say they're from Hollywood, they're from North. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all transplants. That's people coming from other places, celebrities, Instagrammers, minors, all of that, right?
It's sort of, not to cut you off, but it's sort of like how Houston is. Like, I know 2 celebrities personally that are from those cities. Like, I can say one of them lives across the street from me, and his dad used to play for the St. Louis Rams, and another one I went to high school with. Sometimes they have to play in Houston because it's the bigger area, but I know where you're from.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a difference. Like you know, okay, I'm from Mo City. It's you know what I mean. But someone outside of it, like let's say they leave and go out of Texas, and they're like, "Where you from?" Oh, I'm from Mo City. Where is that? Like Houston.
Yeah, that's you have to declare it. I get where you're coming from.
So that's where like the little distinction comes. But a lot of people don't know culturally, LA is really small. Like it's big, obviously, a lot of people. But the real side of LA, like we all know each other. Like that's like you be like, oh, what's good, bro? You meet somebody new, right? And you be like, oh, you went to that school? Oh, my cousin went there. Oh, that's your best friend? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, my cousin. You know what I mean? We all know each other. So it's like on the real side of LA, it's like, you know what I mean, South Central, Watts, Compton, you know what I mean? I'm naming hoods, but like outside of that, you know what I mean? Just like LA, like South Bay, Inglewood, like Culver City, like everything. I always say the line starts at about Beverly Boulevard. Okay. And the sad part is, all those people came for the Super Bowl. They all stayed on the north side. They all stayed in fake LA. I mean, they might have went to the west side or something like that, but they stayed in the fake side of LA. They never touched south of the what's it called? South of the airport. Okay. The airport is designed for people to go north.
Yeah, y'all airport traffic is hell.
Oh, it's terrible.
Fuck that. It took me it took me almost an hour to get to In and Out. We were trying to go to Roscoe's. What you mean? Like, fuck that.
Yeah, but that's how it's designed, though. It's designed for the traffic, and that's why they're building the little extra people mover.
Okay, yeah. I see what's going on.
So it's like, it's also connected, but it's not, most people have never ever been to real LA in their whole life, and that's I mean I'll give her a shout out right now. Issa Rae has shined a lot more light on the real side of LA, made a lot more people go and start touring, like people on tour, not tourists, but you know what I mean, like tourists.
Like they did the Doom, like a lot of people do the Doom. I never
real LA.
Yeah, because I never actually fully watched. I only see the spots, and I was like, okay.
Now I'm gonna hate a little bit. I don't think the Doom is the most cinematic spot over there. Like it's way better party.
I'm not from California, so I can't speak on that. Nor have I fully watched the show to its entirety, so I cannot speak on that. But from a real Californian, and my executive producer's also from California, they know what's best. I shut my mouth.
I'm just saying. Listen, it's traffic is just. I wouldn't have picked that spot. I like a couple other parts. They look exactly alike. Like I like Underwood, but I mean, it's the Dunes. It's iconic now. It's you know what I mean.
It is what it is.
Exactly. But pretty much, no, that's the biggest thing. Like, LA is like, I feel like there's some people always tell me, like, you been to LA? Have you been to LA or you been to LA? You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. That's why you asked me that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, you gotta come to LA.
The real LA.
The real LA. Get real food. You know what I mean? Come kick it. Yeah, it's a little dangerous politics. You know what I mean? Just do what you normally do. Don't act. See, that's the problem. People think everyone in LA is extra. No, I'm extra. Because I travel a lot. So I'm extra.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? I'm the most extra person in LA. I'm the most extra person. Asking me why in LA. I'm the most extra person in my friends. Like, I'm the most extra, and I'm not that extra. Like, I'm pretty extra.
You're extra.
My demeanor is like calm, so
yeah.
It's like, you know, but I'm pretty extra. But in LA, oh, you be like, damn, you acting like that. Why you like? I'm just, it's comparisons. You know what I mean? It's environment.
Of course.
But I think that LA people have this like different demeanor and mindset that comes from like our grandparents. Like my grandma came from Louisiana. Like a lot of them like came from Louisiana, North California, same way. Like they came from like Michigan and stuff. A lot of them. So you see similarities in like Detroit culture and Bay Area culture. You see a lot of similarities in LA culture and Louisiana. Like it's
I see it.
You know what I mean? And so it's like that's ingrained in us, but it's like different because it's on the West, so it's a different mindset. Of course, it's a lot more expansive and like we have this different mindset. But I think that a lot of people will benefit from actually taking the time and going to real LA.
Of course.
Go see, it's some beautiful places in real LA. I think the best beach is guys. Let me not say that because I'm like send people to my beaches. But
you don't want you don't want to send people to your personal spot. I get that. I respect that.
Palos Verdes, if you guys ever seen what's the movie on Disney Channel? Double Team.
Yeah.
I think so. Twins that play basketball, and they was in Palos Verdes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's literally on their jersey. It's on the poster and stuff, and that's Palos Verdes. Most people have never been there. Wow, it's beautiful. Like it's South Side, you know what I mean? But people don't go there because you gotta go down Central, you gotta go down Cleveland, you gotta go, you know what I mean? You gotta go out the way to see it, and people don't go down South Central. People think South Central is South Central in the center of like the south of LA. No. South Central is South Central because it's south of Central Avenue. Like people don't know.
You learn something new every day with this show.
Crenshaw is a city, and it's because like a lot of people in like LA from the like developer standpoint, the gentrifier standpoint, but you know what I mean? They literally are trying to like, they're building a train that basically takes you straight through Crenshaw. Like you go from the airport, you get that's why it's all like connected. The Ubers, the train, the Inglewood, and the train should be able to take you from anywhere around like the whole city. Yeah, like once it's done, it's gonna be live.
So it's like how Houston did the metro train here.
Exactly, but here's the only difference: there's no stops in the hood. It drives right through the hood.
Oh shit!
You close your eyes, put your AirPods in. You know what I mean? Put like the little mask on. Wake up when you get out the hood.
Oh wow!
So it's like that's why they're trying to make Crenshaw. Unfortunately, like people like Nipsey, you know what I mean? R.I.P. Once like he was still here, even after he was like gone, like his legacy just like made Crenshaw like be on the map and just like the west side where I'm from, you know what I mean? And stuff. And so like for him specifically, he's kind of like derailed that even in like post-mortem. But like they trying to make Crenshaw the Crenshaw history. Crenshaw's a street. Oh wow. Like, yeah, it's a community, but it's a street. It's just west side, you know what I mean? Like we don't look at it like that. So like our map of LA and like LA, and I seen the article once, and you can look it up. It's called like how Nipsey viewed LA, but like how like he viewed it. That's why people always like, why he leave the hood? He should like the hood. He doesn't, you know what I mean? How he viewed it wasn't like it's the hood. It's like this is our community. This is like our state. It's like everything. This is our roots.
Yeah.
Like my grandma moved over here, and now I grew up over here, and you know what I mean? So I look at it differently. Not saying that it needs to necessarily like be gentrified or anything like that. I understand the benefits of gentrification from a structural standpoint, but I think it's on us specifically to start reverse gentrifying our own neighborhoods, taking back our own communities. You know what I mean? Because the white people, here's the thing that keeps the white people out. They get in, they get something, and they like build on like the property, and they say it's beautifying it, it's doing, you know what I mean?
And it costs more to live there.
Exactly. If we just took like more of that effort and energy on ourselves, and I'm not saying like we need to do something or more. You know, I hate people that, oh no, we set ourselves back. I ain't doing all that. I'm not preaching. But we need to specifically start like looking at like a more communal approach to like how we go about our own community. Because it's a community at the end of the day. You can't do anything if it's not collective.
True.
Like I shouldn't be able to say I want to do this in my house and if not. As opposed to building up my house like this, I'm gonna make sure like I'm gonna get some more property down the street, so now I can get more people in. You know what I mean? But I mean that's just how Nipsey looked at it.
And I guess that's why a lot of people move from California here, because it's easier to get more property here.
It's already black. You got more money in your savings. You got more options, more money, more options.
True.
And you move out here, and they're doing that same approach. They're reverse gentrifying out here. It's just that this is y'all community, it's not our community. So it's a little controversial.
You know, I get it, especially when you got a lot of people that don't know how to drive out here. Well, like we was talking earlier, before the show, like everybody moving out here, but not knowing how to like adapt to Houston culture as it is, and you have to take it one day at a time.
That's what I'm saying, because here's the thing with the culture. Most people don't know LA was really like built by like New Yorkers. New Yorkers came out there. My mentor and mine, R&B again. He used to always say like New Yorkers come to LA and they just take over instantly because their mindset is like once it's like New York, they have winter. We got winter LA. So like it gets cold in the winter, and you know if you outside, like you know what I mean, you don't got heat, you can't afford all that. You could die. So for them, they got that hustler mentality. I'm hungry. They moved out to LA with that hustler mentality. Unfortunately, a lot of us in LA, good weather, we don't have to have that mentality like that. Like we on top of it, we move fast. We're accustomed to it, but we just chill a little bit and get to it. You know what I mean? I got a lot of boys like, hey yo, you got that job? No, my grandma.
Hey, you do what you got to do, though.
Do what you got to do. So it's like they were able to get into LA and kind of like take over a lot faster because of that mentality. And you know what I mean? The approach is wide open. I'm seeing now a lot of LA people taking that same mindset, and that shit is taking the culture.
Yeah.
Because we take our culture with us.
Yeah.
Same way New York take their culture.
Y'all think, bro.
Now you see the metros. Now you see the, hey,
bro.
Austin and Houston, man. Hey.
Austin, honestly, I feel like more California people move to Houston, but more Houston people end up moving to Austin.
More black people.
There you go.
Moving to Houston. Black Californians.
Yeah.
More white Californians is going straight to Austin.
And that's why most of the metropolitan areas not counting for work in the last big election ended up being a lot blue.
But you know what? When I think about like both sides of LA, real LA, you prefer Houston.
Of course.
Fake LA, you won't prefer Austin. It's a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand it, and that's just the way the world works. You know what I mean? I'm an old man. I'm from the 90s, man.
Hey.
I'm from a century ago, from the 1900s, man.
Hey, these newer kids don't know.
Hey.
But before we go into our last part of the show, before we got into our deep tangent, because it was a good tangent. I'm not going to cut you off. You know, you're giving me content, and I appreciate it.
Hey, man, you know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? Gotta help you up. I need a moderator.
I think the producer is busy, but I understand. But I appreciate a lot of things that California people brought here, and we take things back there as well, and it works both ways. But when I'm going into the sneaker side of things now. I know y'all have a big sneaker market out there, and I know it's chaotic, not as bad as Houston, but I know a few shops that y'all have exclusives and everything. How bad does it really get? Or how good does it get, depending on your perspective? Because everybody's about the fashion.
Since the pandemic started, before the pandemic, oh, you get any shoe you want anytime.
Oh, shoot. Bro, you should have said that.
Oh, you get any shoe you want.
Bro.
Too many stores.
I know.
If you're willing to pay the aftermarket.
Oh, God, no. I see where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. Okay.
If you're willing to pay the aftermarket price, get any shoe you want. And now, since the pandemic, because of the supply chain, aftermarket looks ridiculous.
The market's been ruined, and I take this to deeper context because I had a trivia question about this at Social Status. Shout out to Social Status. But like I tell people that the hype beast ruined the market before the market was even out there. And I take it back to my senior year of high school in 08, 09, and shoes were, like Jordan 1s was cheap. Now they almost $2. So, and then the times of waiting for shoes to change, more people getting boxer shoes. So, that's a very open idea. Like, the aftermarket is even worse. The aftermarket is way worse now than what it used to be.
Because places like Flight Club no longer have that, like,
distinct, like, customer base.
Yeah. It's wide open and everything's online.
Yep.
And the problem with online, buying shoes online,
Can't trust them.
you don't know what you get. They make good fakes now too.
Boy, don't even get me started on the fake market.
So it's like, but that's LA though. And because we are so like, I won't say like riddled by the pandemic, but we're just now starting to get out the pandemic now.
Yeah, I know.
We're just now starting, I mean, we opened up, but like, stuff like that's like niche or like, I mean, it's big market, but it's still niche technically. Like the sneaker market, like the real sneaker market, not the, you know what I mean, like the IBs, the complex watches.
Yes, yeah.
I'm dissing, I'm going crazy.
Well, it's not just the complex. You mean the hype beast in a sense. Mainly are the complex watches. No disrespect to complex, of course, but
it's suburban white kids that
that ruin the market.
They listen to Travis Scott and they buy Yeezys. It's just it's just
that's what I'm saying. I know Travis.
They ballooned up the market,
yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean. So it makes it difficult because now in LA the market is just that much more packed with more of them, and because they have whatever going on with their computer skills,
the system skills and the bots and stuff.
Kim Possible they wait on the computer with it, you know what I mean? It's like they have some extra plugs to getting that off the market and flipped.
And making triple what it was originally worth.
So it makes it harder if you really, really appreciate just good shoes or sneakers or something like that to get your like actual shoes easily. You gotta go way out your way. So now I think a lot of sneakerheads are going from like back in their room, back like you said, 09. I used to know people like Bow Wow and Lotto tickets, like, you know what I mean, just nothing but sneakers. Yeah. And now it's like they start to, you know what I mean, I'm gonna get this one every 3 months.
Exactly. That's how it's become, especially within the recent years. Especially last year on the Nike was my best year ever in a long time. And even with this year, you know, with the patents and the rebellionaires, that'll be on the next episode. Of course, you'll see the rebellions. But it's like, it's easier for us to get it lower price on the aftermarket, but it's harder for us to get it on the actual app.
Exactly.
So, and I know the social culture out there is mad. Like I said, y'all just getting out through the pandemic and stuff. And even with that, you appreciate going outside more now than you did in 19 because we was all inside.
Oh. Once you get inside, man, crazy story. It's a random story.
Random story. We got time.
I was in Atlanta, right? Shout out to Peaches too, you know what I mean? I was in Atlanta, Peaches and Caviar, you know what I mean? You know Peaches?
I heard the name before.
Okay.
I remember Peaches. I remember Peaches.
So Peaches, I was at her engagement. Engagement party. And so, I'm there. We go to like, after the party's over, we go to like a little club or whatever. I'm with my profile Trevor, you know what I mean? A couple extra people. And it's a lot of Dallas people, of course. And so, they turned on this song. I keep telling stories so funny. They turned on this song, what's the song? By Mo 3. Outside. They scared to come outside. But they turned on the song and everybody went crazy. All the guys, they went crazy. That's my first time hearing it. It's like back in like October. Yeah. I'm like, it's crazy. Like everybody's like, they're like, you know what I mean? They get live with it. Like they live, like, jumping on stage, everything. So I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm like, what is this? Like, what is it on? They're like, it's outside. I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, it's an anthem. I was like, oh, okay. So literally, my like whole energy with that song, I don't just because you say inside, that's the only reason I thought about it. But my whole like energy just with that song was connected to that moment. I took that back to LA. I must have played that for about 15, 16 like straight days, like loud, blasting, extra, you know what I mean? You got to. And everybody was like, yo, what's that? And I must have hit that little meme that, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, and everybody listens to LA. See, that's lit. But that's how the culture goes. That's, you know what I mean? You take it, because I think musically, like, LA, we have our own little distinct sound, but, like, it'll be, like, someone coming back from leaving and bringing it back to the tribe. Speaking of sound, and I hope the camera doesn't die, because this is actually a good point. My cousins from Frisco, when I was younger, of course, used to bring, like, E40 and stuff to
to us, and we like, oh, this shit is hype shit. Oh, that's what's up. Like we used, bruh. Oh god. And then so my cousin decided to my cousins in Frisco, of course. They brought the E40 wine out there, and I was like, hey, yo, he was on to something, and we didn't even know it. E40, low key E40 been on some shit. We was not prepared for it. We catching up to the level that he's on, and we've just been so behind with it. But that's crazy that MO3 has made an influence from Dallas, technically Atlanta too, because they played out
by way of Atlanta.
By way of Atlanta to California, and it's because I remember when we used to bring like slow down banging stuff. My cousin used to bring that from here to there, and they'd be enjoying it. They'd be like, "That's what's up." So I see how both cultures collide with each other, and they bring something back positive to each other.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's amazing.
We gotta establish that though. Like that's the biggest thing. Is I seen somebody say the other day that like they don't want to go by like African American anymore. They want to go by like Native Black American. Like they want to like start to build that like again that communal level of like thinking, but with that comes culture.
Of course,
we gotta have the culture. We gotta spread the culture. I see a lot of people actually snub the Grammys.
Oh,
like we need to do something on our own.
No, dead ass. And I guess speaking of the Grammys, then I hope, like I said, I really pray the camera don't cut off. But I saw something today about Virgil, about being a hip hop fashion designer, and I saw that this morning before we got on. I didn't want to bring it up. I was gonna bring it up the next day for the next show, and it hit me because I was like, Virgil did a lot more than just hip hop fashion. He did IKEA. He did, of course, the Jordan. He did designs for a few celebrities. He did Louis Vuitton. And I'm like, that's big time. And for y'all to just snub him like that kind of was a low blow. And I agree, we should do something for ourselves. But when we try to do something for ourselves, not to make a negative point of it, but it's like, will we appreciate it the same? And that's the issue I feel like people will have with us doing it for ourselves. We do BT where we do source, and every time we do it, we don't appreciate it when it's not as good as it used to be. And that's a whole nother debate for a whole nother day. We're not getting into that. That would have to be
I'm like, I used to work BT.
I'm not slugging it, but I'm saying for the artists or the people themselves, will they appreciate it?
It was a disconnect with BT, BT. We ain't going into it. But pretty much, I think we do need to sit down and create. And I know a couple people actually have talked to me about that, like creating their own show, creating their own award show, stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? It just, how you go about it, it has to have the legitimacy and the backing of people. People be thinking, oh, we need a celebrity. No, we don't need a celebrity. We need the people. We need everybody, like people tuning into this. Like, we need stuff like this. Like I said it before. Like when it comes to music, why music like fell off. Why music specifically like changed so much at 16 was that like people start taking the power out of the system.
Yes.
Like once they start listening on SoundCloud.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I go directly to the artist. I don't have to worry about all these other like streams of like, you know what I mean, barriers to entry. I can just go straight to the consumer, straight to the artist.
And that's why I'm glad that there are more, before the pandemic of course, there were way more festivals that promote other artists that aren't mainstream. And that's why when you said Austin, I was like, yeah, because South by Southwest, that's when you meet a lot of people that are trying to make their name for themselves. And they come from all over.
Oh, God.
And to make it, honestly, truthfully, I'll give you one of my best experiences. South by 16. I
was out there in 16.
See, I was out there. God rest his soul. My favorite artist, Doom, was performing.
Ooh,
I'm a big Doom fan. I'm a diehard Doom fan. Like, when I found out he died, I was in the liquor store because his wife posted, not to change the story, of course, but I was in the liquor store buying cigars, and when I saw that he died since Halloween, because he ain't posted, it kind of made me like, bro, I can't do this. Not to start the year off like this.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but bringing it back is like, Lil B came, replaced Jay Electronica that year because Jay Electronica couldn't make it, and I stayed for Lil B too, because I support bass God. But, like, the cultures itself, we do have to establish our own culture. I agree with that 100%. And we have to appreciate it as well.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. And I mean, it's on us as like content creators to create content that is up to the par of these traditionally white
establishments.
Exactly. But at the same time, it's on our consumers too. Like, we have to connect outside of everything else.
Exactly.
And that's when it's gonna actually like take hold. That's what I've been saying about tea. That's why I have all this stuff. Hilarious. That's the core of it. It's like we need to create platforms specifically independent of everything else and other influences before we can ever talk about partnering with them and doing all this stuff.
Exactly.
We partner too fast.
Exactly.
We take the check too fast.
Exactly. And I definitely agree. I don't want to hold you up because I know you got to get ready for your flight. I got 2 last questions. They're going to be short ones. Like I said, I pray the camera don't die. But your favorite shoes that you ever had? I know you don't have because you flew out here for your Neos. Shout out to Beta Up. You know, this is the second Beta Up guy that we've had on the show. We, you know, the home team going to look out for the home team.
Okay.
But your favorite pair of shoes that you've ever had or ever bought? Quick story, you know, not to hold you up.
My favorite pair of shoes.
Any pair.
I would have to say it's torn because I was gonna say the Retro 3s, the you know the Retro 3s, the black cements.
Yeah,
I was literally there Black Friday, first Jordan release that I actually like attended and like got the shoes when I was kids. But like before that, my foot was like a size 6 or something. I'm in 8th grade, 7th grade. Yeah, literally. Or no, I was in 9th grade.
Okay.
This is 2011, and so literally I just gave my whole age, my whole information. That's crazy.
We'll bleep it out.
You know what I mean? And so essentially, I remember going to the mall. I went to 3 malls with my mom. And literally Black Friday, I'm up at like midnight, you know, back in the midnight release and stuff. And so I went to the first one, got in line waiting for hours, got all the way up there. I'm like, yo, just give me a size 6. I was like, all right, for sure. You sure you don't want to like measure? I'm like, man, I'm good. I know my size.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And my mom was like, you probably should. Why did I put my foot on there? And they was like, size 8.
Getting to the competition side.
Yeah. That was like, so you gonna give me a size 8? They was like, once he hit that scratch, I was like, so I'm like, you know what I mean? And I had to go to 2 other stores and I got it. Eventually, I went to Beverly Hills, you know what I mean? At the time, before the hype used to take over.
Of course.
It was a good place to go. You go to a white neighborhood, you gonna get your shoes.
Of course.
But I would say that just because it was like, that was my first pair of like Jordans that I bought type shit. So, you know what I mean? I have a connection to it. But outside of that, it was a pair of shoes, some clear weathers. Yeah,
oh, wow.
You know I like wearing other shit too.
Of course.
And so I ended up going. I got them on some dry shit too, like at like Saks at 50 or some shit. Yeah. Not bougie at all.
Not bougie.
You know what I mean? You just you stop in there. I'm not a shopper. I'm gonna say it, bro. I don't like doing all that. I don't do all the clothes and stuff. You know, you see I got my profile stuff.
Facts.
I get other people right. I don't know. But essentially, I put on like the moccasins. I don't know if you remember I had like the little moccasins.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And everybody was like, yo, where you get these from? Like, where you get these? I was like, what? I just bought these in the store. You know what I mean? I just thought they look cool.
Of course.
And I was pour them out. Either that or the Uggs.
Okay.
You remember the Uggs?
Yes.
Everybody got them now.
Everybody got them now. But you was kind of a trendsetter at that time because you came.
I took all the slack, bro.
You took all the slack. But in retrospect, everybody's getting them now.
So like, I was like, cause in LA I seen like my homeboys Ty Kenny having them on, my boy AJ too. And I was like, oh, these live. Like everybody in LA was starting to wear them. And this is like 2015, 14.
Of course.
And so I bought me a pair real quick, and I go to Houston. They was like, what are those? Uggs. And then, you know, they're like the little sneakers,
yeah.
Not like the Uggs, but like, yeah. And so everybody was like, what are those? Like, why are you wearing those? Like, you know what I mean? I took all of the jokes, all of this slang.
But you came up and set a trend, and niggas are now setting up for themselves.
And now I'm used to everybody wearing them. And literally, it was the craziest thing. Like, a couple years later, like, a couple people walked up to me. This happened a couple times, too. And they was like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I got me a pair of these Uggs. They comfortable as hell. I was like, what?
See?
I'm like, hey, but it happens that way sometimes. You know
does.
what I mean? Like, you don't even, I think people be like, oh, I'm trying to be a trendsetter. You don't have to try. Just be yourself and get what you like. And, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
All the shoes I named, I like those shoes. I mean, the 3s everybody likes. But outside of that.
But you have a personal connection to the 3s, not like most of these hype dudes.
That's what I'm saying.
So I understand completely. This is sort of why I created this show. Because any shoe that in my closet, I have a genuine story to them. And I'm a genuine sneakerhead, so it's kind of like I don't respect the hypes, I respect the art.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as an artist or anything like that, I pay attention to detail.
Because the 2000s, mid 2000s, like around that time, 15 and stuff.
Yeah.
sneakers that fell out. I remember Jordan had this little remaster.
Yes.
They said they would stop making the 3s and stuff. And
Because they re-released the Aqua 8 that year too, and I actually hated it because I had the 07 pair and the 93 pair, and the material felt different. So I see where you're coming from.
they was on some bullshit.
Yeah, no, I know the Aquas are one of my favorite shoes, and they was.
But it was because they knew they had hype piece who was gonna buy it no matter what. So they could put out anything. They could put out this plastic bag with some shoestrings, and they was gonna buy it.
And especially with that water-filled shoe. that's what I was just thinking of. But not to hold you up, I know you gotta get ready for your flight. So you gotta normally what we do is try to give encouraging words, at the end of the show for anybody, or check on people. Normally our trainers would be like check on people. I'll be like, lift up your friends, anything like. You got anything special you want to say before we sign out?
I mean, I appreciate being here. You know what I mean? Shout out to the show. Of course, Cordell. I gotta come back. I gotta come back for my dog Cordell. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we'll be back for a full show. Appreciate the time. Appreciate, you know what I mean?
No problem.
The stoves.
No problem.
It's got me right with the right side too. You know what I mean? I got it now.
I'm not gonna do you wrong, especially on this show.
You know what I mean?
And especially since, I support y'all in any way I can, at least look out for y'all. And especially, it's always good that HBCUs, especially members of HBCUs, are coming together to connect on something. We will probably have to do a part 2 on another day. But it's always great having you here.
Appreciate
you. So, this is your boy Landon Strange.
Ryan Aubrey.
And he's wearing his Pro Fight Trades Pimple Dot clothing. And we are going to sign out with a fancy yurt. Be easy, be safe, and enjoy your day.
Take your piece.
And for sure, take your piece. I had to learn that the hard way. And your piece is your piece.
Yeah.
Let me just log out.